Welcome back to Music News TV. This is Tim Hunter. Today's music news. Rick Ross made an interesting post on his Instagram before immediately taking it down. Check this out now. Rick Ross went on to post that he wasn't trusting the Tesla, so he's never driven in one, never rode in one, and is not interested. He thinks that the smart car technology in the Tesla will basically spy on him, keep up with his locations, and eventually drive him directly to the feds. Sound a little bit like, the conspiracy theorists, but at the same time, he do got a grand point there. And to be honest, I agree with them. The smart cars, the smart technology that's all over, oh my God, it's amazing. You guys probably already heard about how, I guess, your iPhones and Androids are listening to your conversations. And most of those became noticeable because you probably picked up on making mention of a particular item, and then suddenly, as soon as you go online, that item is there for sale or something like that, right? Well, the technology these days is so incredible. Well, first, let me just take you back for a second. About 30 years ago, they had a satellite from outer space zoom in on a dime that was on the floor. It actually showed the date on that dime. That was 30 years ago. Now they have technology. They say they can hear conversations through walls. They have conversations in which, look at this. I remember reading one story just about 2 weeks ago in which, I guess a unknown CIA agent or ex-CIA agent was saying that if a person is having a conversation in a room, after they leave the room, they can literally hear everything that took place in that room after the person has left. How they able to do this, I have no idea. But I tell you this also. Even though Rick Ross made a great point about Tesla, guess what? All the information that they want from him, they already getting through that cell phone device that he's carrying. So there really is not much hiding you could do unless you literally drop all technology from your life. Years ago, I remember this in the 1990s, that I remember a friend of a friend was telling me, a conversation he had with his friend who worked for the local government in DC. He gave him a call, and he was telling him what he was reading in the newspaper. Back then, people was reading newspapers. He told him what he had on his plate that he was eating. And he was like, how are you able to do this? He said, don't ask no questions, just trust. We know. Now, this was in real time in the late 90s. Can you imagine the technology that they have now? So, to come full circle with what Rick Ross is talking about, he is accurate, but there really isn't much avoiding of it unless you literally do like the guys do with the hats and the mules. That's what do you call those guys? The Mormons. Unless you go that route, even then you're really not safe at all. So Rick Ross, yeah, you probably got a good point with the Teslas, but you also ought to look at your cell phone also and really take a close look at that. In the meanwhile, guys, you get that story and more on musicnewstv.com. Subscribe and like and come back for more. All right, bye bye.